Justice League of America number 7.2, aka Killer Frost, written by Sterling Gates, art by Derlis Santa Cruz. So we open up with a woman who has frozen solid in an Antarctic snow, and we get a narration saying, yeah, here are the stages of hypothermia. If your body goes through all this stuff, like, you're super dead and there's no way you can possibly survive. And as the voice is describing it, it says, like, yeah, most people, they hear about this and they're terrified. I hear about this and I'm fascinated. And we're introduced to Dr. Caitlin Snow, who has just arrived at this Antarctic base, who meets up with a Dr. Nolan, who is second in command. Snow is actually taking the lead because the woman that we saw in the beginning, who is, I believe her last name is Lincoln. I could be wrong there. She was the previous head of command, and she just apparently wandered out into the snow one night and died out there. So Snow is filling in for the intermediate. She's just kind of a temporary replacement. So apparently she's super smart and she's come highly recommended. She makes her way into the building and is introduced to the group. None of them matter for the point of the story, but regardless, she's like, oh yeah, sure. Hey, do you mind if I go see what Dr. Lincoln was working on? And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. Go ahead, Nolan, let her go see it. And then we see they all look at each other like, she's no good. So they make their way into the chamber and Dr. Nolan explains, okay, here's what she was working on. It's essentially a perpetual motion machine that we can get infinite energy from. And everyone thinks she's crazy, but like, we're really super proud of it. We definitely think she can do it. And so Dr. Snow looks at it, and basically their job here as interim is just to keep the lights on until like a more permanent member can be found to run this. But Caitlin is so enamored by the idea of this project. She's like, I mean, I gotta give it a shot, right? I have to try to see if I can get it to work. So we see she's trying to fix up things. She's working on papers and stuff like that. All the other members of the group are coming in being like, hey, Caitlin, what you doing? She's like, oh, just trying out some different things, reading the papers, having a good time. So at that point, we see that she's saying, no, she was like super duper close. Like she was maybe just weeks away, if even. Like I've managed to make the small changes that she proposed, and I'm test running it now. And she flips it on, and then boom, it works. And she's like, oh, I am the doctor of the millennium. Oh yeah, let me hear it. And as she is happy about her thing, she is attacked from behind by one of the other doctors there. And as she comes to, she's now inside of the room that this machine is kept in. And they're like, hey, hi, Caitlin. We killed Dr. Lincoln, if that wasn't obvious, because she got too close to this, and we work for Hive. And for some reason, Hive really, really doesn't want this thing to exist. So we're just going to say that there was an accident while you were working on it, and it killed you. Okay, cool. Bye now. And then they flip the switch and she starts freaking out like, oh no, I have to stop it. And she starts pulling out like different cords and such. And she accidentally pulls out the cooling system. And at that moment, she gets hit with a bolt of this energy and the machine automatically shuts down. And as they look inside the room, they see this giant ice egg in there. And they're like, what the hell? What is it? And as one of them goes to touch it, arms come out, reach for the doctor, and we see that the life is drained from him as Caitlin stands in front of them saying like, oh, I'm so hungry. I need to feed. And we see her start to chase down the other scientists. She's able to use her ice powers to trap them. And all she can think of is warmth and feeding. That's it. So she ends up making her way through all the scientists until finally ending up at Dr. Nolan. And she's just like, oh yeah, what was it you said while I was in there? This will all be over in a snap. And then she kisses him. And as she kisses him, all the life is drained out of him. And she's like, yeah, hypothermia usually takes like hours to take effect. With a kiss, I can do it in seconds. So that's cool. So she stumbles out of the building, makes her way to a nearby Norwegian camp where she, I guess, fakes being nice enough, long enough to get to her home in Pittsburgh. And then when there, she came across Firestorm because she was doing supervillainy things. And as she's fighting against Firestorm, she gets zapped by one of his energy beams, and it temporarily cures her. She turns back into normal Caitlin Snow. And she's like, oh my god, I'm not hungry. I'm normal. I can live a normal life. But then very quickly, the snow sets back in again. She's like, oh, okay, that sucks. But now I know what I have to do is attack Firestorm, steal his energy, and use it on myself. I couldn't possibly just ask him to work with me. That'd be too easy. So she apparently had a long-standing rivalry with Firestorm that in his book we just never got to see until finally we get to modern day and she hears from the secret society like, oh yeah, the Justice League is dead. We killed them, and that includes Firestorm. And she's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And so she's walking away from the group as the crime syndicate announces all this. She walks into town, just starts destroying random things in the city, and her like group of compadres, Multiplex and Typhoon, they're just like, yeah, she's a bit angry right now because her boyfriend died, and she's like, it's not my boyfriend, but like, what am I supposed to do now? Because she's super upset because she has no other ways to change back into Caitlin Snow. So her last thing is, what the hell am I going to do now? I just don't want to die in here from the cold. And she's sitting alone in an alley with just like, that scene from Frozen with all the ice just spread on the doorway, that one. I think it's okay. I think that it's... Killer Frost, the only other time that we've seen her in the New 52 was just an out-and-out villain. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So giving her this tragic backstory makes me feel like they kind of want to backpedal that a little bit. They're like, well, now, hold on. She's just doing this because she needs to, not because she wants to. But then I point out she could have just asked for help. That seems reasonable. So, yeah, I think that there is good here. I think that it is decently written. I don't have a problem with the character, but I do think that it is very heavily a retcon to the character. And if they want to move forward in saying that, like, okay, no, she was actually like a misunderstood villain all along, so be it. But I don't think that they've done enough to turn her into like anti-hero yet. I think that that would require a little bit more going for it. So we'll see how they move forward with her. This doesn't say continued in anything yet, so I don't know where she's going to be, but maybe Justice League of America. Who knows? Overall, I'm going to give this one a... I'll give it a 7. I'll just give it a flat 7. It's fine. It's good. It is an okay comic. It's just not blowing me away or anything like that. It's a perfectly competently made continuation of what they would want to do with Killer Frost.